Hey, good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing today? How are you guys doing today? Hey, this is Gregory Wiles coming live to you from Houston, Texas, with its inspirational morning talk. For first-time listeners, I'm on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:45 a.m. That's our time here in Houston, and yeah, you can calculate which time zone are you in, but today is a great day. Today is not a great day, guys. We're almost there. What today is the 19th of December. We're almost there to Christmas. We're almost coming down closer. Less time to do our end of year fast. That what we're talking about. I might try to wrap it up today. Give people some time to do their fast. Some people may want to do it before Christmas. Some people can do it after Christmas. I can do mine after Christmas. So yes. So, what we're talking about fast, let me just go over quickly some of the stuff that we did. So, first thing, a fast, for people who are now joining this one here for the first time, a fast is either staying away from food and water. You stay away from food for a period of time if you are choosing what God lead you to do, what the Spirit lead you to do, or you can stay away from it from both food and water, right? When you stay away from both food and water, you call that a dry fast. So if you hear anyone referring to a dry fast, that's what it means. You stay away from both food and water. From my knowledge and what the experts saying is no, don't go longer than 3 days without water. But I heard people say they went longer. If the Spirit lead you to do more, it's between you and God. If He tell you do it, He's gonna sustain you. But according to as far as my knowledge go, and saying 3 days is you shouldn't, go longer than 3 days without water. Now I did several dry fasts, 3 days dry fasts before. I try not to. If I got to go out on work or go out and do anything outside of the house, I try to not to do the dry. I try to just stay away from the food and take my water in. So you just got to use your own common sense in doing what you're doing. Now, people who are on doctors' orders and doctors uh, um, on the doctor's care. You should check with your doctor to see what is what let a doctor lead you, right? Unless the Spirit tell you something else and God leads you to do something else. But I, I personally gonna advise you to follow your doctor and see what he's saying, right? But I know people who was under that and they was led by the Spirit and they go ahead and they did the fast and they really get the healing. But hey, I personally got to put up the disclaimer that I am advising you to follow along with your doctor. If the Spirit leads you to do something else, that's between you and your God. And if He do tell you that, He got a reason for that, right? So a little recap of some of the stuff we did. We talk about giving to the poor. That's big. And what we're gonna wrap up with today is Isaiah 58. Remember, we talked a little bit with Isaiah 58 before, why the Israelites that wasn't God wasn't hearing them on their fast. And now we're talking about the same Isaiah 58. He tell them why He wasn't hearing them, and He tell them how to do it, how to fast properly. So that's what we can wrap up with today. But we talk about giving to the poor. That's one of the things is big on your fasting. You're going to see it in Isaiah 58 here. We talk about praying God's will, right? When you're going, don't, I always ask Him, and finish up with if whatever you ask Him for is according to His will. How we said you might think it's something you want, but He know more than us. And if it's not part of His will, you just don't want to something that's not part of His will. The only thing that's part of His will can give you the fulfillment and give you the joy and give you the happiness and get you those things that you need, right? We talk about cleaning out your heart. That's the first part of Isaiah 58. We can go it over quickly. You gotta have a clean heart when you're going to fasting, right? You gotta have a clean heart. And then the big one what we talk about is forgiveness. If you're not forgiving people, don't even attempt going on a fast. Don't waste your time even praying. Don't waste your time fasting because you're just starving yourself. You're just going on the fast for weight loss benefits. You don't get no spiritual benefits from it if you do not forgive. If you're still holding on the unforgiveness. So that's a huge one. They're going to block your healing. They're going to block everything and separate you from your God. Because He said, I've forgiven you every day. And you just don't want to forgive. Remember the story we look at when the man was the master write off the debt from the man for like $10 million. I'm just using a number to talk about how much bags of gold, but we just want to put a number to it so it makes sense to us, right? So let's say it was $10 million debt he write off for the man. As soon as the man left his office and go outside, a man owe him $1,000 $1,000, and he was upset, and they want to write off the debt for the man, throw the man in jail. So that was a parable God used to show the people of forgiveness, why we need to forgive, because God, he writing off millions of dollars of debt for us when we come to him to forgive all the stuff we're doing. And we can't forgive the one thing what this person did to us. So just like the $1,000, we went through all of that, right? That's why forgiveness is huge. So now, for the sake of time, you guys can go through. And again, when you're fasting, find whatever scriptures, whatever you're praying for. Let's say you're praying for healing. You want to go through. Google is our good friend. You Google scriptures on healing, and it's going to pull up scriptures on healing. You find which one is most appropriate for you, and you can read them when you fast, whether it's 3 days, 3 times a day, how much ever times you choose a day, whatever you led to do, how much ever time a day. If it's scriptures on marriage, you're trying to fix your marriage, see what the Bible say about marriage. You get those scriptures, you read them. If it's on financial breakthrough, you find all the scriptures where God talk about the promises of we did with the Israelites and we give them and houses that didn't. Find all those scriptures and you read them, because that's where you petition him from. You give him, he say, give me back my word, right? So whatever you're going to him for, whatever you petition him for, find scriptures along that line. Just Google for what you want. Scriptures on this, scriptures on marriage, scriptures on healing, scriptures on financial breakthrough, scriptures on if you got problems sleeping, what God said with insomnia. Find whatever scriptures you're going in front of him for, and you pray those stuff. If you got good prayers too, along the same line that who you asking for, find good prayers and you pray them along with your scriptures. Like I said, how much ever time of day you choose to do that, you do that, right? So today we can just wrap up what a true fast look like. What a true fast look like, okay? So Osmond Smith, good morning, good morning. We can follow up with a true fast look like. This is Isaiah 58. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'm going to go through enough to give you what it said. I encourage you to read it for yourself and go through it. All right. So first, I'm going to go through the part that we cover. We're talking about clean your heart. This is when the Israelites were fasting and just complaining how God not hearing them, right? And he dropped the Isaiah to tell them why I'm not hearing them. Go Isaiah and tell them. So this is how we start out. Shout it aloud. Do not hold back. Raise your voice like a trumpet. Declare to my people their rebellion. So he telling Isaiah, go and shout it out to them. Don't hold back from what I'm telling you. I want you to give it to them just how I'm giving it to you. This is why I'm not hearing them, because of the rebellion, right? This is why got to complaining how the fasting I'm not hearing. So he said, declare to my people their rebellion, and to their descendants of Jacob their sins. For day after day they seek me out. Day after day they seek me out through the fasting. They seem eager to know my ways, as if they were a nation that does what is right and has not forsaken the commands of God. They're saying that they're coming with their fast and all that, and they're pretending that they're so innocent, and they're so wicked, and they're committing all these sins, but they want to come like they're so innocent, right? They ask me for just decisions and seems eager for God to come near them. Why have we fasted? They say, they complain. Why have we fasted and we ain't getting no results? Why we stop eating and we ain't getting no results? Why have we fasted and you have not seen it? Why have we humbled ourselves and you have not noticed? That's what it's saying. And this is what God's saying, because and here's what God's saying, why you ain't hearing them, right? Yet, they're saying, why have we fasted? Why have we humbled ourselves and you did not notice? But here what God's saying, yet on the day of your fasting, you do as you please. This is why God says, this is why I'm hearing you. On the day of your fast, you do as you please and exploit your workers. Exploit your workers. Your fasting ends in quarreling and strife. Clean out your heart. You don't go in a fast and fussing and fighting and taking advantage of people and all of that, right? You're fasting the quarrel and strife, you strike each other with wicked fists. They're fighting, they're striking each other with wicked fists, telling lies on each other, telling other stuff to hurt them, either maybe physically or not. You cannot fast as you do today. God's saying you cannot fast like this. You cannot fast like this, right? You cannot fast as you do today and expect your voice to be heard on high. He said you cannot fast, do these things on a fast and expect me to hear you, right? So now we're going to tell them what they should be doing on the fast. This is how you should fast now. In Isaiah 58:6, he said, is this the kind of fast I have chosen? He asked them, is this the kind of fast I have chosen? only a day for people to humble themselves. He's saying this is not a kind of fast. It's not just to just stop eating and drinking. That's not the whole thing of a fast. If that's all you're going to do and still fuss and fight and do all your wickedness, you're just doing it for weight loss purposes. You're not trying to seek me. And now we can tell them who it is. Is it only to bow one head like a reed and for a line of sackcloth and ashes? Is that what you call a fast? A day acceptable to the Lord? He said, just don't go through the motions, put on your mourning clothes, your fasting clothes, and don't eat and don't drink. He said, that's not what it's about. He's saying that's not what it's about. So now we're going on to 6. 6 is going to tell you what it is. You can lay it out to them. It's not this the kind of fast I have chosen to loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke. He's saying this is what the fast going to do, right? In NIV put it saying, in LT saying loose, like free up those people that you have in imprisonment, undo the yoke, heavy yoke of your workers and all that. But I'm reading from the NIV. He said, untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free and break every yoke. Is it not to share your food with the hungry? So guys, always we talk about giving back to the poor. So what he's saying here, share your food with the hungry, right? And here we can go on and say, and to provide the poor wandering with shelter, right? When you see the naked, to clothe them, and not to turn away from your own flesh and blood. So in a nutshell, he's saying, when you're under fast, give back. But who he's saying give back to? Who he's saying make sure you give him back to? Again, the poor. He got such a soft spot for the poor, guys. A lot of things what we want wrapped up in giving back to the poor. My favorite scripture, what it says, if you give to the poor, you lend into the Lord, and he'll repay you. So on your fast, he's saying, I still want you, even on your fast, to give into the poor. So let me go that over again, right? 6. Is not this the kind of fast I've chosen to loose the chains of injustice? And this is spiritual too. God, we're spiritually chained. We're spiritual. The things that affecting you, if you can see spiritually, is spiritually you're bound. Spiritually you're chained. That's why you can't do the things that you want to do when you're going in the fast and doing. Spiritually you're bound and chained. So he said, it's the fast. If you do it right, it's going to loose those chains, those spiritual chains, and free you up to do the things that you really want to do. Because you want to do these things, like somebody tie you up and you want to move, but you can't move. But generally you want to move. That's what's going on with us. That's why we're making these resolutions and we can't fulfill them. After a week, 2 weeks, we got back doing what we're doing because we're physically bound. But you want to do it. You want to do it, but you're restricted, right? So he said, this is what the fast can do. And untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free and break every yoke. Is it not to share your food with the hungry? You're asking them, this is how I teach y'all to do it. Is it not to share your food with the hungry and to provide poor wandering with shelter? When you see the naked, you clothe them, and not to turn away from your own flesh and blood. So he's saying, be kind to your own family members. You see people needing clothes. Instead of you talking about them and saying how this, you clothe them. You get them some clothes. People hungry, share your food. So the food that you're not eating on that fast, you share it with the poor. Share it with somebody who need a meal. Right? Clothe people. You see people clothed, they ain't got nowhere to live. Help them. And on a fast, guys, I tell you, you're going to get some calls, some people trying to call you for some family member or a little short on a rent or I need a little help here, I need a little help there. And there might be a person who all year you're saying is lazy, you need to get a job. But if they call you on the fast, guys, that's why you don't tell nobody you're going on a fast. You don't tell no one when you're going on the fast. You're going your fast. But if they call you during the fast, I want you to think about this piece here. This might be God sending them in your way to make your fast a genuine fast. Don't let them stop you from your breakthrough. Don't let them stop you from getting your blessings. Right? Normally what I would do, sometimes you go out and you donate some food, them grocery stores sometimes got this, especially around the holiday time, and you make sure you donate, you give back on the fast. Right? That's what he's saying, to do it generally. And here is the results you're going to get. He said, and to turn, not to turn away from your own flesh and blood. So then your light will break forth like the dawn. This is the when you do it right, when you do these things here, give to the poor, and you're fasting and not fussing and fighting, but doing this thing, have a clean heart, helping the poor, right? He said, then your light will break forth like the dawn, and your healing will appear rapidly. Your healing will appear rapidly. Your light will break forth, right? Then your righteousness will go before you, and the glory of the Lord will be your guard. This is all we're going to happen, right? Then you will call. Then you will call, and the Lord will answer. You will cry for help, and he will say, here I am. But you see, before he wasn't hearing them, right? In verse 1 to 6, they was complaining, why God not hearing me? He's saying this all because y'all were quarreling, fussing, fighting. You didn't have a clean heart. So you don't do it like this. But if you do it like this, you give to the poor, you're treating your neighbors right, your family members right, and all of that. Clean heart. That's what he's saying. Then you're going to call, and he's going to say, answer you and say, here I am. Isaiah 58. Then you could go on and see all the benefits we say are going to happen if you do it right. I can just read two more. So then you will call, and the Lord will answer. You will cry for help, and he will say, here I am. So we crying for help. We going on this end of the year fast. We crying for help with the things that we want to see change in our lives, the things that are restricting us, right? We people got healing, finances, the marriage, the children, the all kind of thing people could go. This is just basic stuff, everyday stuff I'm calling. But people know the needs that they got. So it's help we need. So he's saying, you're going to cry for help, and he's going to say, here I am. Here I am. What you want me to help you with? In other words. Then you can show up when you do it right and say, here I am. Okay, you go through the protocol to reach me. You got my attention. How do you want me to help you? And that's when you're laying out what you coming to him to help you for. All right? So here, if you do away with your yoke of oppression, with the pointing of finger and malice, so he's saying if you guys do away with all the fussing and fighting, and if you spend yourself on behalf of the hungry and satisfy the need of the poor. So he's saying, do away with the fussing and fighting and pointing fingers and all that, and spend your time giving back to the poor and things. Spend your time doing this here that I lay out, feeding and helping the hungry and all of that, right? And if you spend your time on behalf of the hungry and satisfy the need of the oppressed, then your light will rise in the darkness, and your night will become like the noonday. The Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land. All these promises he's saying will happen if you do it right, right? So you could go on and read the whole Isaiah 58, and it's going to give you they're going to tell you all what's going to happen, right? So, but I want to wrap up today, guys. So you guys think about what you're going to do. Let the Spirit lead you, and you do what the Spirit leads you to do, whether it's a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, whatever it is. I'm doing the same. I'm being led on how much I need to do, and I'm going to do it. Start of my year, I said, you're going to turn on go to a church service, or listen to one on the TV or whatever, and they're going to tell you about all these seeds and crossover seed and 2023 seed and 2022 to pass the 2023 seed and the New Year seed and all of this stuff. Guys, I'm trying to give people things that can actually work. Like I'm saying, if Lord lead you to give how much ever he lead you to give, but don't give it and think by giving it, it's going to take away your problems. It's going to free you up. No, you got some work to do. There's protocols in place for you to do that, to get the results you want. And you got to go through those protocols, and this is the fasting and stuff, and to get you what you want. You got to do some work, not just simply giving him, and God will forgive you all your sins, and the enemy can back off of you. Because you give 10,000, I'm gonna back off of you. You give a lot, I can't touch you because you give 10,000 to pastor. No, you give $1 million to pastor. The enemy's saying, so what I got to do with me? What I got to do with me? You won't go through your protocol to back me off. So hey, good. I can still whoop you. I can still do the things that I got the permission to do over you. Not until you go through this protocol to break it. Then he can say, well, okay, can't touch you now. All right. So guys, this is it for today on the fasting series. If I green let to share anything else on this more, I will. But if not, we can just move on. But do your fast, end of year fast, and get your breakthroughs. All right. Thank you. Goodbye.